I didn't go to Ava Sinclair's wedding to celebrate. I went to bury the version of myself she tried to destroy. Some people remember the exact moment they lost a friend. A single text, a betrayal, a look across a crowded room. For me, it wasn't one moment. It was a series of slow, slicing cuts. Smiles that didn't reach her eyes, whispers I didn't hear until too late, and then the final plunge, the lie that ruined me. Her name is Ava Sinclair. Once she was my best friend, no more than that. She was the sister I never had. We did everything together. From sharing cheap wine in college dorm rooms to mapping out our future careers under the stars. I thought we were inseparable. We told each other everything, or at least I thought we did. Now when I hear her name, it's like biting into glass. Ava. The woman who smiled as she torched everything I'd built. The woman who left me to burn with the ashes. I used to be someone respected. I had a job I loved, a reputation I worked for, a fiancé I thought I'd spend forever with. Then she took it all with one well-timed whisper. And the worst part, she made sure her hands looked clean when the blood was on mine. She didn't just stab me in the back. She served my downfall on a silver platter and smiled as everyone ate it up. I remember standing in that conference room, eyes staring, phones buzzing, judgment thick in the air, and her sitting with perfect posture and feigned confusion, as if she didn't know exactly what she'd done. I didn't fight back then. Couldn't. There was too much noise, too much damage. No one listens to a woman defending herself when the mob's already got the pitchforks ready. So I vanished. For a while. Let the shame choke me, let the whispers grow. But silence has its limits. And I've had years to think, to watch, to plan. When her wedding invitation landed in my mailbox, pristine, cream-colored, smelling of money and roses, I didn't laugh. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I simply placed it on my kitchen counter, made a cup of coffee, and smiled for the first time in years. It was poetic, really. After everything she took from me, she thought I'd be flattered to watch her walk down the aisle in white, pretending she hadn't torn me apart in secret. She forgot one thing. I have an excellent memory, and I never leave a storm unfinished. Ava and I met in our sophomore year at university. She was all fire and glitter, radiating confidence, always the center of any room. I was quieter, more calculated, more focused. We made an unlikely pair. She thrived on attention. I thrived on accomplishment. But somehow we clicked. By senior year, people didn't say Ava without me trailing right after. We were a unit. We studied together, traveled together, and confided in each other about everything. At least I thought we did. I shared my dreams of becoming a communications director for a nonprofit. She wanted to marry rich, become a publicist, and live on a yacht by 30. We laughed at how different we were, but deep down, I think Ava resented that I didn't have to use charm to get ahead. I had grit. I had credibility. I had respect. After graduation, things moved fast. Was going to be the plot twist she never saw coming. Revenge wasn't my first thought. Not at first. At first it was curiosity, an itch under the skin. Who was this Ethan Carr? What kind of man was willing to marry a woman like Ava? Had she changed? Had she found someone as calculating as her? Or just another fool caught in her performance? I started with the yard straight out of a movie. I pretended to be a nervous bride, to be looking for a last-minute venue. The coordinator gave me a tour. I memorized kind of weather that wedding planners dream about. It was almost cruel how beautiful it was. I arrived 10 minutes before the ceremony, wearing a navy into my clutch and pulled out the flash drive. Mia, seated near the audio booth, gave me the nod. We had rehearsed this. She plugged it in. The screen behind me flickered to life. A silent room watched a short, grainy video. Ethan at a private rooftop bar, hands sliding down the back of a waitress' dress, whispering something in her ear while Ava was out of town 2 weeks ago. The timestamp glowed in the corner. Then the texts. Flirty messages to 2 different women, one saved in his phone under a man's name. And finally, a short recording from Tessa's voicemail. You don't have to marry him, Ava. You don't know the whole truth. He's not who you think he is. I turned back to the room. Ava's face had gone bloodless. Gasps filled the space, followed by whispers. Ethan lunged forward, trying to grab the mic, but 2 of his groomsmen held him back. The room was unraveling, and I hadn't even reached the second act. I took a breath, turned to Ava directly. But Ava, I said, don't worry. I'm not just here for him. I pulled the envelope from my purse. Copies of the anonymous emails, forged transcripts, and timestamped social media posts that had ruined my life, each one tied to an IP address. I tossed it onto the head table like a bouquet. Just wanted to return something that belongs to you, I said. The silence that followed was thick with disbelief. And then, like a dam breaking, it began. Ava screaming at Ethan, Ethan calling her a psycho, the parents stepping in, guests trying to usher children out. Someone knocked over the champagne tower. A woman I let myself believe that turning the other cheek made me the better person, that if I stayed quiet, life would somehow balance the scales. But it doesn't. Life isn't fair. And karma moves slow when you sit still. Sometimes you have to be your own justice. Not out of spite but out of survival. And yet, revenge isn't healing. It's a knife with two edges. Gave me closure but not peace. That had to come from within. From rebuilding, from letting go of needing to be understood by people who never really saw me. So no, I'm not telling you to burn everything down. But if someone tries to bury you in lies, make sure you rise with truth. Loudly, gracefully, unapologetically. Because power doesn't come from hurting them back. It comes from remembering who you were before they broke you. And becoming someone even stronger after.